Welcome to Family Matters. To the best of our ability, we do it on Thursday or Friday. Lately, it's been Friday, but no complaints. But Kevin, how are you, sir?
Jay Staples, I'm good. How are you? Is the question. Tell me
Bert
how
all
you're
right?
doing.
Is Bert all right?
Bert's good. Bert's like, I just need to fall asleep, man. I'm here for moral support.
It hasn't really moved. He's not moving. He's sure he's alive?
Yeah, he's good at that, man. He just drops into your lap and says goodnight.
All
He
right.
really likes you.
We do it to the best of our ability. We answer your questions, you calm your fears. Try to stump Kevin to the best of our ability. But anyway, cannot go further without saying we're sponsored by Jaywalker Lodge. Mr. Kevin Petersen is the family director over there. But anyway, cannot do the show without them. But anyway, let's move into it.
Yeah, let's.
So,
what do you got?
So I'll just go bullet points.
Okay.
Married 7 years, known each other forever. So let's just say, I don't know, 10 or something. Or husband is around 40, early 40s. All right, early 40s, married 7 years, known each other forever. The wife is, is interested in hearing your stance. Is she overreacting? So husband is currently in treatment. And during the stay in treatment, it came out that the husband has been through 4 other treatment centers in his teens and early 20s that she had no idea about.
Ooh,
so she is her first question is this normal? And then now it's to the point. So her husband works for his dad and is, let's just call it, parents are running the show. And she feels left out and is considering, well, mom and dad seem to be all right with another 30-day stay. She was basically saying she feels like her voice is not being heard when she's saying he needs a lot longer and there's a lot more issues at play than mom and dad are willing to admit. What do I do is basically what she's asking. She feels left out. She seems like some things haven't been told to her. It's about early 20s, teens treatment. She does admit that they've used early in dating, but now they have a kid. I forgot that. So they have a 2-year-old kid. And so she has said, ever since my boy, I rarely touch any alcohol.
Got it. Well, I think, the initial, she was asking, am I overreacting? No, I don't think you're overreacting. I think you're kind of getting a lot thrown at you at once.
I would say so.
Oh, by the way, this is my 5th treatment. And I thought you were going to say like he has kids from another marriage, or, he's admitting to some infidelities, or I'm like, oh, okay, that's easy. So here's what I would do if I were her. And I understand mom and dad are paying for it, and that's great, but you're still his wife and the mother of his child. So I would advocate for myself, and I'm sure whatever treatment center he has some sort of family engagement, whether it's, with the individual therapist, or they have a families therapist, or they have a couples or families weekend or whatever. I would get on the horn right now and start saying, hey, I need some support here. I need some help. I need some help sorting this out, and I would like to be a part of this process. And that's the change that has to occur, right? She's probably used to standing back and letting mom and dad run the show. Sounds like that's the kind of family it is, right? So you're going to have to, so what's going to happen is you're going to challenge the system, and they're going to push back hard, and so you have to be ready. So what does that mean? 2 things. 1, you need to find your own therapist wherever you live, and Jay and I would be happy to help you find somebody to deal with this stuff you got going on because we know everybody. And the other thing is, I would highly, highly, highly recommend looking at some 12-step recovery groups, whether it's Al-Anon, CODA, ACOA, who knows what. But I would highly recommend going into a 12-step community and getting some support. And this is, I want to be clear, I'm talking about for you, not about him. This is about you getting some help for yourself because your whole world is changing, and you're going to need a little backup on that. And so I know it's normal to focus on the person in treatment, and I get that. But at the same time, you have to be able to step back from that and be like, okay, hold on. Yes, they need help. There's no question about it. They are definitely the patient, okay? But the client or the customer is the family system. So I think that's my best answer is that, I completely get where she's coming from. And I think she needs to get some help for herself. That's got nothing to do with her husband and nothing to do with her in-laws. She needs to go find a place to dig on her own thing. So, yeah, that's what I got.
This is going to be tough. I just feel the tension in this. Like you said, this is opening the door to kind of going up against mom and dad. And I'm curious to see how the husband, the client currently in treatment, what side is he on? That would be my first question is he wanting to fight for this marriage or is he wanting to slide into, under mom and dad's wing? So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And also he's newly sober. I wouldn't expect him, I wouldn't expect him to jump into deep family therapy or couples therapy in 30, 60 days. He's not ready. He needs to he needs to do the same thing for himself at treatment. He needs to be digging in on him and getting his act together. And then they can come together and be like, all right, this is what we got to figure out. But you got to do your own individual work before you can do couples work. Yep. Right, Bert?
Yeah. I'm open. I wear alcoholism proudly. So I tell people I've been through numerous treatment centers. So I don't know if that's normal or not. It just made me think. And so, in the whole dating or just relationship, do you tell friends that I went to 5 or for me, like 6, 7 treatments? I don't know I guess that's their own personal choice, but I can understand the little bit of a surprise on her end thinking, this is a brand new thing. And, he's been through treatment in teens and early 20s. So God bless you. Well,
and I think that's the thing, right? That's why I want her to get her own help because I'm willing to bet she she probably knew what he was like, but I'm suspecting there's so much more to this story, and I want her to start taking account of her behavior and what she's got cooking. So yeah.
All right, well, let's go right to basically Florida because I think Florida is the only one that's. So we have mid-30s male. They had just done it. They just did an intervention on him a couple of weeks back. Son said no to treatment. Interventionist at that point told the family. It's time to do a Marchman Act. And my son is rightfully out of his mind. They did get him to a place nearby for an assessment, but he was they said out of his mind that he walked out an hour after the cops dropped him off. Now we're facing a court date where they're threatening jail if he doesn't go along with the assessment. So this is a Florida thing. I think Florida is really the only place that does this, but where they're forcing him into getting an assessment. Mom, dad, family are saying, we didn't do this intervention to turn him into a criminal. Why is jail a part of this equation? We just want him to get help.
Right. Oh, totally understand. So the Marchman Act is all about if this person is putting their life in imminent danger. right? And so I think, evidently, if they went all the way through the process with a lawyer in the courts, that must be the case. They're the courts are not liberal with these things. They're a little stingy, to be honest. You have to prove your case, and you have to prove that this person, if you don't intervene, is probably going to suffer irreparable damage or die. So you gotta be able to be willing to do that, and it's not cheap either. So the fact that he went on the run, well, that's okay. Those are his consequences. Allow him his consequences. Allow him his experience. I'm The thing about intervention and all that sort of stuff is that everybody thinks, oh, this will be great and everything will work out just fine. And sure. The intervention in itself is the moment, right? It's the concept isn't just we're going to snatch him and put him in treatment. It's the family saying, we love you, but we're not doing this anymore. And we've got you an option. And if you don't want the option, that's okay, but then you can't hang out here. You can't be part of this gig. And it's about the family declaring that. That's the big deal of the intervention. It's the big deal of the intervention isn't about, putting the snatch and grab on the guy. The big deal is about the family holding their ground and saying, we love you, but I'm not doing this. We're not doing this anymore. And that's the hard part. I mean, I get it. I get where she's disappointed. Mom, whoever was disappointed. I'm like, oh my God, we did this. Then we had to do the Marchman Act. And oh my God. It's like, yeah, no, I get it. But, in your heart, you have to be asking yourself, is this going to save their life? Are they going to kill themselves? Are they doing fentanyl? Because then you're doing the right thing, but it's not always linear, and it's kind of messy. So,
yeah, it's nothing more awkward than when you're in a dinner conversation and people are starting to talk about, like, I've never been to jail. Who would actually go to jail? And I'm just sitting here eating my Caesar salad, being like, yeah, I totally understand where you're at. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll have another Diet Coke here, please. It's everyone has their story, and I would say it's his behaviors that are leading to it, and maybe jail. Sometimes jail rattles your cage. Sometimes you have to go more than a couple of times once. In Jay's case, but anyway, so
we were in a clinical meeting, or was it last week or this week, where we were like, you might, like the whole, remember the old Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a redneck, and so you might be an alcoholic if you think shower beers are normal, if you think, well, everybody goes to jail,
I have to remind myself that's not the case, but I also been in those dinner conversations where people are like, oh my God, couldn't imagine being in jail, and I go real quiet, so you know what? Anyway, my story. I'm not like that anymore, but
nope.
I think there's been a couple that I've let's go kind of knock them out, kind of what I say, like on everyone's mind. If
I don't want to go.
If I stop helping financially and something terrible happens, can I live with that? That just seems to be the overwhelming fear that we have when considering cutting off our 22-year-old son.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, I think sometimes people always think it has to be black or white, right? It has to be, you go away to treatment for the next 5 years of your life, or we shut the door and never talk to you again. My position would be more along the lines of sit down, have the conversation, and say, we love you, but we're concerned about your behavior, and we want to offer you help. And if you choose not to take the help, that's your choice. But then that also means you're going to find your own place to live. You're going to pay for your own phone. You're going to have to start sorting things out on your own. And a good therapist, a good case manager, interventionist, whatever we're going to call it, will walk you through that process. It doesn't have to be the showdown at the OK Corral. It can be a sit down where everybody gets a chance to put their cards on the table and just say, hey, mom and dad are at the point where they're like, well, you're living at home, you're not working, you're sponging off of us, and I'm sorry, That's not happening anymore, and furthermore, the drugs and the alcohol have to stop, you know. And if you don't want to, that's okay. That's your choice. But you can't do it here. And you can't do it on our dime. So let's start talking about what that looks like, you know. And what it really comes down to is we're kicking the little bird out of the nest, which is hard. It's scary, right? Because what if I'm not there? It's like, well, yeah, but eventually he's going to have to start figuring this stuff out, So how about we start moving towards that? And then across the entire path, we're always going to say, we're here to help. We'll get you a therapist. You need a sober coach? We'll get you a sober coach. You want to go to treatment? We'll go to treatment. Whatever, no problem. We will always make those things available to you. So I get the sense that this person is kind of looking at more of the black and white of, oh my God, and they're like, well, okay, hold on. Well, let's have a family meeting and see how it goes.
Well, it's the whole playing the tape out. Like, I think I'm guilty of this too. So I can look in the mirror and say this confidently. So many times we feel like if I make this decision, then all this will happen. And we don't even know if that's even going to happen in the first place. Our mind just goes instantly to playing this whole tape. Well, if I do this and then this and this, reality is we don't know what's going to happen after that. Like, and I think families sometimes get caught up in playing that tape it's just their imagination. They don't even know if it's going to happen. So.
Yeah, and they're going to worst case scenario, and it has a lot to do with their own internal stuff as well.
Yeah.
So
it's never the
time.
Yeah.
So,
I like this one. I don't know how I missed it. Once again, she said Kevin again, and just so people know, just so people understand, I am here too. Wouldn't hurt to put Jay, but that's fine. Kevin, I know the boundaries that I need to put in for my husband, but I constantly ask myself, what would it take for me to actually follow through on these boundaries? Why is it so hard to follow through?
Yeah. That's a great question. And I don't know you. I don't know the exact answer, but I can tell you how to get some help. So sort through that. And we're going to go right back to what I said before. You need your own individual therapist that's going to help you work on that, answer that question, right? Because there's a reason why you're not comfortable holding a boundary. There's a reason why you're not comfortable saying, hey, I love you, but I'm not doing this anymore. And you need to talk to somebody about it and walk through the process and kind of get some help. And, I think a good 12-step group for families or for codependents, because what you just said is kind of one of the ultimate pieces of codependency. I know what I'm supposed to do. I just can't do it. Okay, cool. I get it. Great. Fantastic. Let's go get some help from people that have been there. It's the same thing for alcoholics and addicts. It's the same thing. I'm going to go get help from people that have done this before, that have plowed ahead of me. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, I know exactly what that feels like. Oh, I've been there. Here's what you do, So go surround yourself with people that are in the same boat and get that help and get that community. And it's going to feel great. Initially, it's going to be weird and scary. You're going to be like, what the hell is it? They talk weird. They do weird stuff. I don't get it. And that's okay. Don't worry about it. But open your mouth and say, hey, I'm not sure how to do this. I'm not sure how to hold my ground. And they will help you. They will absolutely help you. That's what they're there for. Yeah.
The old aroma of codependency. What does that smell like? I'm curious,
What is it smells like hope and desperation at the same time.
I know the smell well. I know that.
Yeah, man.
I'm telling you. It's been on my clothes forever. But
like cigarettes and stale beer.
Isn't that the truth though? You can just sense codependency kind of coming through in just a lot of these things. But it's tough. It's tough, and that's why this is why we're doing it every. We make it sound. Kevin has a way of making it sound so easy, but we also realize this is so tough. And I just love the fact It's a simple solution for a complicated program, something like that, isn't it? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah. I mean, it's the solution is easy, but it's not simple.
Jesus. Well,
yeah.
Kevin, go
Whatever.
watch some NCAA basketball or something. You can, you brought it, so you can take the rest of the day off. So.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Go Zona. I'm going down with the Cats, Arizona Wildcats, baby.
Oh well, Charles Barkley called it the Arizona Invitational, the tournament. So we'll see. We'll see. So
all right.
See you next week.
All right, bro.
Bye.
Later.